Men, and I use the term loosely, of course. Back on the 66 XLCH problem, I have this crack on a fin that's about to break off. And in the earlier video, the crack wasn't so obvious as it is now. And that's because I sandblasted it. And the dust from the sandblasting tends to draw oil out of the crack, and it really highlights it well. So you can see much more clearly how big this particular crack is. So that's the cylinder that we got to fix. And then there is this head that needs fixing. And it might be a little hard to pick up on the video, but you could see the braze or the well, whatever that is on there, is not particularly good. There's also another little crack on the other side of the hole, and it kind of trails off in towards the head rather than straight down. I don't think there's anything I could do with that. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm just going to open this up over here, V it out, get the old material out of there, and glue it back together again, and I think it'll be just fine. Anyway, I want to TIG braze these things. And the only problem, of course, is that I've never TIG brazed anything in my life, and I don't have any TIG rod. So we're going to do a little bit of experimenting here, and hopefully I'll figure out how to do this. After all, I did watch at least part of 2 YouTube videos. Okay, this is my practice head. Practice doing valve seats on it. Practiced dual plugging work on it. And anyway, it's pretty much a piece of junk. So let's see if we could TIG braze on it. And what I got here is a piece of generic hardware store flux-coated brazing rod. I got the welder set on DC at 85 amps. So let's see what happens. The head has been preheated with a propane torch. I don't know if you'll be able to hear me through the helmet, but I'm just trying to put a little heat on. My goal here is to get a drop of brass to flow. Well, that didn't look good. Plus my mask is fogging up. So far, no good. I don't know what's going on there, but it doesn't seem to be working. I don't think that's going to work. Yeah, that does not look too good to me. I think I'm going to knock the flux off of this rod and see. I I think I'm going to knock the flux off of the rod and see what happens. Okay, I knocked the flux off a piece of that hardware store brazing rod, knocked it off with a hammer, hit it with a sandpaper, cleaned it up, cleaned up all the spatter and gunk that came off of here, cleaned up the TIG torch, and we're ready to give it another try with just the plain brass rod. Welder's still set on DC with 85 amps. Not sure what's going on there, but it does not look happy. Ay, ay, ay. Huh. Alright, so that isn't working. I think I'm going to clean this mess up and I'm going to turn it to AC and see what happens. Just a little look at what's happening to my torch from all of that. So we'll get this cleaned up. We're going to try it on AC. Alright, I got another piece of generic hardware store brazing rod. Torch is all cleaned up again. I got the welder set to AC, the same 80 or 85 amps, whatever it was. I got the frequency down to 70 because I think I want to cast kind of a wide heat zone. And let's see what happens with this one. Well, this is not encouraging. Yeah, I'm trying to heat the bronze up and get it to flow like solder would flow onto a piece of wire, and it's just not happening. The AC did not make quite as much of a mess as the DC did with the same rod. Ay, ay, ay. Well, I don't have any other rod to try, so I guess I'm going to go to my local welding supply and see if I can't get them to slide a couple of pieces of silicon bronze and aluminum bronze rod out of a tube. From what I've gathered on the internet, those are the preferred choices for doing a job like this. You know, and I have used this stuff with a torch, and I'm terrible at brazing. I just am no good at it. I could get it to sort of work, but it's awfully ugly. Anyway, I guess I'll be back in a day or two with some other rod to try out. In the meantime, stand by. All right, so it's a couple of days later. I went down to my local welding place, and they didn't have any aluminum bronze. They had silicone bronze rod. I could not convince them to poke a hole in one of them tubes and let me slide, one silicone bronze rod out of there. They wouldn't do it for me, so I had to order a pound of each, which, considering my piss poor results experimenting with the plain bronze, I'm not at all optimistic that this is going to work either. But let's give it a try and see what happens. The welder is on AC, the same 80 or 85 amps I had on it before. I'm leaving it on AC because even though the brazing part of it was no good, it was a lot cleaner than when it was on DC. So let's see what happens with this. Maybe I'll get lucky. Well, if I don't say so myself, and I do, that's impressive. I think, anyway. Wow. Okay, I've simulated the brazing I'm going to do on this cracked boss over here. Let's see how this works out. Yeah, I think I could probably live with that too. Yeah, that looks like I've got good fusion with the base metal there. Yeah, I think we're going to be okay. We're going to run another bead over this thinner area of metal over here on this fin. This is the silicone bronze rod. Let's see how it does. Ah, heard a crack. A crack right there as it was cooling off. Interesting. The silicone bronze seems to flow easier. This crack is concerning. Crack is concerning. All right, so here's my very first TIG braze job. Not the greatest, but you know, this is going to get painted silver. You're never going to know. You know, ground it all down and made it flush. Got a little couple of pits in there, but I could live with that. I mean, you know, for what it has to do, hold this fin on, that's not such a bad thing. Little brass got up on top of the mating surface. What I ended up doing was I put the cylinder head on there with some lapping compound and just lapped it back and forth until it was smooth, so I don't anticipate any sealing problems. I'm going to call that good to go. Okay, and here is my second TIG brazing job. I ground out that crack. It was completely gone out of there. Filled it all in with the brazing rod. Looks like I got real good fusion. Ran a tap down through there, of course, to clean the threads out. I ended up, I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not, I ended up grinding a bunch off down in here where that other crack kind of angled over this way, filled that all in too. I'm happy with that. Looks like it should hold pretty good. Here it is, final product. 66 XLCH. That cracked cylinder head fin is, I don't know, back here somewhere. That cracked top motor mount boss is back here. You can't really see anything when the engine's together and it's all painted. Only shot 3 videos having to do with this motor, mostly because this was, as rebuilds go, a very routine repair. Nothing weird going on, no weld jobs, no cracks whatsoever in the engine anywhere. Very unusual to find one in this good a shape. As a matter of fact, I think I maybe only put 2 Healy coils in this thing. Once again, very unusual. But for now, I am out of here. Hey, thanks for watching. Please subscribe. Get yourself a sticker. Support the channel big time. Get yourself a coffee cup. Links down below. Bye.